Mr. President, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this debate. I rise to express my full support for this, the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defense of Property Bill 2025. I don't propose to take long at all, because I think this debate has treated with a number of the issues that I would have had in my mind to speak about. I've heard it eloquently expressed by people on this side, people on the independent bench. So I'm going to be particularly short tonight. You looking for short?
Get them full. Just for that, 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Just for that.
Short. I have it short tonight. So let me start with Dr. Murray. Short, right? Dr. Murray, Senator Dr. Murray, I want to take note of a point that you made. And basically where you would have juxtaposed the right to life as almost comparing it with the right to property. I think I also would have heard similar sentiments expressed by Senator Jones Simmons. I want to say that from where I sit, I do acknowledge the right to life. But where I differ is that whereas a person had the right to life, they surely don't have the right to life in my house. And that is where I differ. That life cannot be lived in my home by invading my home. They continue to hold on to this right to live, which is the right for me to defend myself. And I say that because I take a next point that Senator Simmons would have mentioned, and I think it undervalued the wisdom in what Senator Allaha would have expressed when he would have made the point that a thief is a murderer. I know all of us. You look at social media, you see the robberies. The thieves, invariably, they all have guns, firearms. When someone says a thief is a murderer, the thief will come into your home with a weapon. And they're not carrying a weapon for games. They carry a weapon because they are prepared to use it if anyone gets in the way of what they're prepared to do. That's right. That when they intend to take what they want to take in your home, if you get in the way, they will take your life. That is the reason why they are walking around with guns and or knives or whatever the weapon. And therefore, the saying of a thief is a murderer is to understand these people are prepared to kill to advance their cause. And therefore, if anyone have a wisdom, then you have to treat a thief as a potential murderer. That's what you have to treat them as. To treat them otherwise, as though we have some way to prevent them from, like if they will have some kind of hesitation to take our lives. I think there's a lot of wisdom that a thief is a murderer, and we must treat them as such. I listened to Senator Buru, and
if you could have made sense of that, then you don't try to.
No, I think he was helpful. I think when I listen to Senator Buru, I now know there is definitely the need for the home invasion bill. Definitely. He took his time, Mr. President, And he showed how difficult the landscape of trying to understand all where the law and the common law and everything is in respect to satisfy this issue of an invasion of your home. And therefore the need to codify, the need to pull it together so that now with 10 clauses, an ordinary citizen, not the lawyers, I know the senior counsels and the
junior counsel,
bright attorneys, they have it unpacked. But this is for the ordinary citizen to come to terms with what equals his or her rights.
To have clarity and
because we all know it's real. This is not made up. We had Senator Dr. May, who went through a couple of years and his life after life being lost to home invasion. It is something real. And people are unsure how to treat with it because they don't have the benefit of Senator Buhu's legal acumen to navigate. And the Honourable AG put in 10 clauses that someone could understand the landscape as it relates to home invasion. And therefore, again, I want to commend the AG for having this law. I just want to touch base with this. I think I like the contribution of the question about the curtilage and all that, because that is important. And why is it important? Because I know there's a lot of communities that we call it what now? Gated communities. They're not even allowed to have fence in front of their property. How then do you protect a person from doing what they want on their property? The law takes into consideration that kind of development all over this country right now. And therefore the whole issue of curtilage is, and yes, an unfenced property has now become a feature in our landscape, gated communities all over. So it's one of the features that you must have catered for, and the law caters for that. My simple contribution, nevertheless, is as a Minister of Labour, small and micro enterprise development. I want to say that victims of crime are workers too. The victims of crimes are workers too. I don't hold the view, as much as we are focused on the home invasion, but I don't know no home invasion criminal. I just know criminal. There is one thing they do is invade homes. But I wore a hat before this one. And one of the things I used to have to interact with is a worker who's a victim of crime. I've had that to deal with a lot. And let me tell you what that's do. That's damage workers. And it impacts their productivity. It impacts from increasing absenteeism. You see reduced productivity. You see impaired concentration and decision making, and a greater likelihood of workplace errors. And let me tell you what happens. You know why does end up before a union? Because the supervisor wouldn't understand. When you are a victim of a crime, what you're going through when you have to come to work the next day. And they see you distracted, or they see you missing in action, and people will go at the worker. And therefore, I would have had to intervene. I have had several cases of workers, and I say this, I don't even like to remember it, but I'll say this. victims of rape. That is not an easy thing to deal with. Victims of rape. I have had persons in the early 20s who would have been raped. And here was a strange thing about the rape victim. The rape victim don't even want their colleagues at work to know what they have been through. True. So you have to find a way to treat with that. Because it's a kind of, they're almost ashamed. It's like they feel diminished being a victim of rape. And I would have had to intervene to ensure to create a space to get them help and support and somehow have the organization adjust to them without everyone knowing why, what happened to them, because they did not want persons to know in general what they would have gone through. I know of 20-year-olds. I know of someone over 50 going and jogging would have been pulled aside and raped and then have to deal with that in the workplace. Those are not easy things to do. We must know that victims of crimes are workers too, and it affects economic activity by way of the loss of productivity when we see we are listing people who would have suffered and people who would have died. Those things impact families, and it impacts the world of work and productivity, something that, as a Minister of Labour, I am concerned with. Moreover, I'm also concerned with the small business, the micro-enterprise. Those things are impacted. I myself were impacted by that. When I youth growing up, my parents had a shop. They didn't have guns in the way they had guns today, but yes, home invasion, not once, twice, but 3 times. It led to the closing down of the shop. But that happens all the time. I know in Arangwes, people who invaded, someone gets shot, business closed. It impacts economic activity. Now, I don't know people, the journey of 1,000 miles is start with a single step. I don't know that this was intended to be a magic one or some silver bullet to solve crime. I knew it was a single step. Sometimes I wonder why. The resistance. This is real. We all know that something has to happen.
And it has to start now.
We were going up from year to year with increasing crime and criminality, that we had to do something. This is just but a single step to try to impact, to offer some relief. Sometimes it seems to me, I see the value, and I take Senator Alwari's point at a firearm. And even with a firearm, you ain't sure what you could do with it. Because really, who point first? I agree, but I'm sure all the firearm persons, no one would give up their firearm. Not today. You know why? Although a firearm in itself can't save you, because who point first? It gives you a greater sense of you having an ability to defend yourself. It could be all in your mind psychologically, the main. You may be probably able to help someone else with your firearm more than yourself. But it will not take away from the fact that you're home, you hear a noise, you're glad that you have a firearm than not have one. And for us to devalue the significance of these things now is unfortunate. because it's all part of a number of strategies to treat with this scourge of crime and criminality. It is real. I'm not even in the mood to knock the opposition. But in reality, it was going up for the last 10 years. We have to do something. This is about doing something. It is not a fix-all. But there's surely nothing to... What's the alternative? Not do it? Allow it to be in the form that it existed as defined by Senator Boodoo? We have an opportunity to simplify it, give persons a sense that we are taking their cries seriously. We allow that their concern to be the focus. Home invasion, because it negatively impacts the worker. It negatively impacts small businesses in particular. And we need to do something to help those persons. It started with ensuring that they have and understand their rights, and that beyond that, whatever else we need to do, whether it's from firearms to whatever else we need to do to help in persons being able to defend themselves. As we deal with the social issues too, that is one of the things we must deal with. We must deal with employment. All those things must be dealt with. But the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And in that regard, I would want to say that I, beyond a shadow of a doubt, fully support this bill as one of the steps towards creating a safer society. I thank you.
Senator Farai, Hof, Masaisa.